Welcome back. Investors are snapping up farmland across America. Critics say it's pushing out the small family farmers, but advocates say it's giving more people a stake in the land and helping prop up the market. And it's an issue our national investigative team have been tackling for a couple of years. Reporter Kristin Crowley digs into who's buying up the land and how one farmer says you could end up paying in the long run.
I'm a fourth generation farmer, fourth generation American.
Farming isn't a job for the weak of heart or mind.
Out of 10 years on farming, you may make money 2 years, break even for about 3 years, then lose your for 5 years.
The losses, the stress, and the strain mean Darvin's ready to hang it up and retire. But unlike the 3 generations before him, he won't be handing the reins over to his children. Despite not keeping the farm in the family, he did hope to keep it with a family. But none could come up with the $4,500 an acre price tag, more than $3 million for the roughly 700-acre farm. If the price sounds steep, the USDA says that's close to the national average. The average value of farmland has almost doubled since 2009, pricing many traditional farmers out. So if farmers can't afford the land, who's buying it?
When you have billions of dollars at hand, you can afford to pay more for land than somebody who doesn't have access to billions of dollars.
Loka Ashwood, an associate professor of sociology at the University of Kentucky, says the deep pockets belong to corporations. And Loka says that's a problem.
When you're an outside investor that's interested in agriculture, you're interested because you want a return. Now, everybody wants a return on their work, but the difference with these outside investors are they don't have the same community ties, the same community attachments a farmer does.
According to USDA data, the value of farmland has seen consistent, steep increases over the last few years, despite market conditions that should have slowed down growth.
I think you just got to look at how much acreage or money certain entities control, and then what the effect of that is.
Brian Luffman is president and founder of American Farm Investors, an LLC that buys land at scale, allowing individuals to invest in agriculture without having to front the entire cost of a farm. But Luffman says corporations aren't solely to blame for the rise in farmland prices or dwindling farmers.
If you completely cut out groups like myself from buying farms around, I think the prices of farmland will probably go down a bit, but I'm not sure that there's going to be a whole lot of buyers that are willing to go back.
Back on Darvin's farm.
Come on, girls.
Who ended up buying your land?
Ended up being corporations.
The very thing that you don't want to happen.
That I didn't want to happen.
The future of farming, he says, is beyond his control alone. That, he says, rests on the government's shoulders.
If nothing changes, what does the future of farming look like to you?
It'll be bigger farms, more corporate control, and food prices will go like they have been going. I mean,
Food prices are going to go up.
Food prices are going to go up or stay high, you know, they're not going to come back down.
Investigate TV national reporter Kristin Crowley joins me now. So, Kristin, what's the biggest impact that people like you and me may see from more corporate farming?
Yeah, well, Darvin pretty much touched on it right at the end there, saying about those grocery store prices, the price that you pay at the supermarket. The problem is that when corporations are buying large amounts of land, they are essentially consolidating the land. So they may buy land from 3 different farmers. So those 3 farmers who are competing with each other, now it's just one big farm, and those corporations can then control the money that is being asked for of those products. So you can expect to pay higher prices at the grocery store.
What's the impact that this consolidation can have on the food supply chain?
So this was something that Loka brought up in our interview that I didn't get a chance to fit in the story, but I thought was really important. When you have consolidation and you have fewer and fewer options and larger producers, think of it like in the pandemic. When something happens in the supply chain, all of a sudden there's a disruption to your food source. So if you have one person controlling that entire supply chain. And one thing happens to them, there goes the entire supply. And that's what can be really scary. There's not a lot of options. There's not different places to go to. You are relying on it from one source, and one little hiccup could mean really serious challenges for Americans.
Are there any other risks to Americans that don't have to do with food, with corporations buying up farmland?
Yeah, and this is something Loga also touched on. She's talking about investment. They are investing. So some of these corporations do farm on the land. Some of them don't, and some of them are using it for portfolios. You are having this invested in maybe your 401ks, and they are making it part of your portfolio for retirement. So if they're pushing up the price of farmland and that it's pushing up, and then there may be a bubble and that bubble bursts, where does that money go that's in that portfolio? It really could affect people's retirement. And this is a concern that Loka and her experts also have. It was a concern that that corporate farmer we spoke with, he didn't necessarily share. He did not believe there was a bubble, but that is a concern in general, that if at some point you're investing all this money, if something happens to that investment, what happens to the people who are pumping money into that? And that's the real concern there.
And Kristin, what are some examples of non-traditional buyers? Like, who's buying up this and how much are they buying?
Yeah, so our team in Investigate Midwest actually partnered up to do some of this research. We found that there was a Tennessee billionaire who spent more than $22 million on 9 properties in Illinois. The owner of an NFL team, he has spent more than $84 million on farm acres in recent years. We found almost $10 million worth of transactions connected to an investment company owned by a retirement company, TIAA, and then a company owned by the Mormon Church. They have been openly buying hundreds of acres in farmland across the country.
It is fascinating. You guys took such a deep dive in this, and we're so appreciative for your hard work. Investigate TV reporter Kristin Crowley, thank you.
Thanks, Debra.
You got it. Well, many celebrities are dropping weight due to injectable FDA-approved weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy, but there's a way to get it without a doctor's prescription, and it skips the FDA approval too. We're going to take a deeper look. That's in 2 minutes when we come back. You're watching Local News Live.